All right. What is going on, everybody? How is everyone doing tonight? Welcome to Hollywood Hangout. I am Boxman, and boy, I got a good movie for you guys tonight. Sorry I'm a little bit late, only like 4 minutes late, but it's the kids' last day of school. Things going on. Been a crazy goddamn week. My wife started a job. It has been just crazy after crazy. Give me one sec. Let me straighten out my mic filter there. Um, and it's just been a crazy week, and it was just I made it. I made it. I made it here. I was only 4 minutes late. 4 minutes late ain't bad. Wow, I'm getting geared up for this one, and this is definitely going to be a good one right here. It's been a long time since I have talked a movie with Dwayne Johnson in it, The Rock, and I don't think I've ever talked about a movie that had Billy Bob Thornton in it, and I have one tonight that's really good. This is another throwback action. We just talked about Bullet to the Head, and actually, this is kind of that sort of. It's cut. This movie's cut from the same cloth. I would say this movie is definitely cut from the same cloth, and actually, um, you know what? Real quick, here's what we're going to go ahead and do. The movie is Faster. That is the movie I'm talking about tonight. It is Faster, starring Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, Carla Gugino. I think I'm saying her name right. Billy Bob Thornton, and there's a couple other people in it that we'll get to as we go through the movie. Um, there's a few things I'll get into as we're going, but it's really this is a movie directed by George. Till Hold on one second here. I think they just decided to start feeding my dogs, which is going to make everyone go absolutely crazy. Anyway, movie here directed by Til- George Tillman Jr. George Tillman Jr. is mostly known for directing dramas, some documentaries. He directed Notorious, the the Big movie, Men of Honor. Honestly, one of my favorite movies. Cuba Gooding Jr. and Robert De Niro. Absolutely excellent movie if you've never seen it. Uh, in 2023, he was doing the crossover TV series. Definitely all the barbershops he did, which we discussed about a year ago. We did all the barbershop movies. He was the producer of all of those barbershop movies. So usually he's doing those kind of movies. Kind of stepped out of his comfort zone here and decided to go ahead and roll with this one. To be honest, I mentioned Bullet to the Head, which was a Walter Hill film. Tillman verbally expressed that he wanted to do a film that went back to the 1970s hard-hitting action films like Walter Hill's The Driver from 1978. So he was looking to get that Walter Hill feel in this movie. If you ask me, it came across. It 100% came across. Wow, did it come across in this movie? Excellent, excellent, excellent movie. This movie, um, it was called Faster here. Driver Overseas. The movie was called. Um, but he really wanted to pay just an homage to those 1970s gritty action films. Film was released in November 24th, 2010. Didn't do didn't do great at the box office, but it did not lose money. It grossed 35.6 million worldwide, budget of 24 million. Um a couple of actors that are in this movie. Well, really, there's one actor in this movie I don't really mention. And I'm not going to show pictures of everyone. Tom Berenger is in this movie as the warden. He's in the movie for like 3 minutes total. So if you don't know Tom Berenger, The Substitute, the first movie, Platoon, I reviewed Last of the Dogmen. Very, very good movie starring Tom Berenger. Absolutely loved that movie, actually. I watched it over the weekend. So anyway, yeah, I'm diving right into this movie. I hope you guys noticed that already. So this was a great, great kind of revenge film. It's exactly what this is right here. You start out, like I said, I'm jumping right in here. This is I've got stuff to do tonight. I apologize, everybody. I've got a few things to get done tonight. So he's not called by his name very much, but there is a name for the character that Dwayne Johnson plays in this movie. It's Jimmy Cullen. Okay. Most of the movie, he's just known as Driver. And really, if you go into IMDb, it doesn't say the actual names. It's Dwayne Johnson, Driver, Billy Bob Thornton, Cop. And then there's another assassin after him, Oliver Jackson Cohen, Killer. That's the name on IMDb. But they do all have names. And we're going to try to get to those as we go through it. But Jimmy Cullen is where the movie starts out right there, played by Dwayne Johnson. Obviously, I mean, known for Jumanji 2, Jumanji 3, the new one coming out, Baywatch remake, Journey to Mysterious Island, just was on the roast of Kevin Hart a couple of weeks ago. The Smashing Machine. I mean, don't really need to go through who The Rock is for you guys. I think we all know. This show did stem from a wrestling show, so my hardcores out there definitely know this. So we get into this, and immediately we see him getting out of prison. Okay. He's being walked out of jail. He goes up, he talks to the warden, who, again, Tom Berenger. Just did a good long stretch. Everybody's saying 10 years. And he goes, and once he leaves, they show him grabbing a car, which is a 1970 Chevelle, a badass car. That's the one thing about these action movies. They all drive badass cars. And I love the sound of a fucking muscle car. So, and a gun and a list of names that ruined his life and, basically sent him to jail. Now, this was Dwayne Johnson's first real action flick since Doom in 2005. In between, he took roles in comedies and family movies. And having made those, he was anxious to get back to making some more gritty, like noir style action movies. And this was his return to it. And this, the opening scene is definitely great. It just kind of, you immediately know he's out for revenge. Okay. And it's not long before he goes right into getting that revenge. Literally, you're like 7 minutes into the movie, 8 minutes into the movie, and he goes right to this telemarketing office. And he kills this dude. One shot right in the middle of the forehead. It is a great fucking scene. Great scene. Points the gun at the guy. The guy recognizes him. Boom. Blows him away. Gentleman's name is Preston Ashcott, played by Courtney Gaines here. Now, the revolver that he's using, this is a big bore revolver, and it is not small. It is a Ruger 2.5-inch barrel, Super Red Hawk, Alaskan 454. Okay. It is a big gun. It shoots big fucking bullets. So we go through there and we see him get his gun. We see him get the list, part of the list. He gets one name on the list. So, Driver, again, they call The Rock's character Driver throughout this movie, most of the movie, actually. Um, this is the same year as Tooth Fairy. See what I mean? He really needed to get back to doing these movies. All right. So he goes to see a guy named Roy Groan. This guy is obviously the badass of the neighborhood. It's played by Mike Epps, and it's a little bit of the comedy relief in the movie because honestly, this movie needs a little bit of comedy in it. And we see Driver go in to talk to Mike Epps' character. Now, it's already all over the news that the other guy has been killed. So Mike Epps looks at him and goes, "You've been a bad boy. I want more money." Now, over to the side of Mike Epps, there is a giant Samoan dude, which obviously is a little ironic being, Driver, half Samoan, Rock. So after Mike Epps tries to renegotiate, The Rock says the price just went down. And this is The Rock he's pretty big in this. And the guy goes over, the bodyguard, I guess you could call it. And he gets in his face. They're about to start, but the guy looks down at this tattoo on the arm of of The Rock. Now, I wanted to dig a little bit because they don't tell you a lot about this tattoo, but this guy sees the tattoo, looks down, backs down immediately, says, "Oh, you're a fucking ghost. I know that tattoo. Nope, I ain't messing with no ghost," and runs out. Okay? Now, I was nice enough to take a picture of the tattoo, put it up here for you guys. Not the greatest picture, but a picture of the tattoo. Now, they do not tell you in this movie what this tattoo represents. They say all he had to do in prison was flash that ink and nobody would mess with him. Okay. So I jumped into it because I wanted to give you guys some info here. So it lists the internal file numbers or ID codes for people that have been involved in the murder of his brother, which we find out. I'm going to get more into that. Don't worry. Just remember that. Keep that in the back of your mind. For the murder of his brother. And as he hunts down each across Southern California, he's going to be crossing the numbers one by one, usually slicing a line through it with a blade or some other ink. And this shows that not only is this dude a legit badass, but this dude is going to be focused on crossing out those names as quick as possible. So he gets the rest of the list. Okay, remember I said he only got a little bit of the list. So he gets the rest of the list. This is where we get to meet Detective Slade Humphreys. Great name. Great name. And that is played by Billy Bob Thornton. First time we see Billy Bob Thornton, he's buying heroin. That's what he's doing. He's buying heroin from Michael Irby, who, if you've ever watched The Unit, he was in that. If you watched Fast Five, Michael Irby was the guy that that The Rock fought. I'm sorry, Vin Diesel and Paul Walker fought in the train car. I think that's who it was. I'm blanking on the movies. There's so many of them. I think that's the one though. So Billy Bob Thornton is a drug addict, and he gets brought into this. So we see him, and we also meet as we meet Billy Bob Thornton. And by the way, let me just make one thing clear. The soundtrack for this movie is beautiful. It is great, and especially when we meet the two detectives. When we meet Billy Bob Thornton, it's one thing, but when he goes in and we meet uh, Carla Gugino, just a great song is playing in the background. It's the perfect song for this part when you hear it. It is unbelievably perfect. So we've got Billy Bob Thornton and again Carla Gugino as it might be Gugino, whatever. But she is Detective Cicero. All right. Now, Selma Hayek was actually cast as Cicero, but dropped out the week before filming began due to a conflict. So, whatever. So Billy Bob Thornton, obviously Sling Blade, Bandits, Landman. He was just in Landman's not even over yet. Done many, many, many things, but mostly people know him from Sling Blade, movies like that. Great, great actor. Now, Carla, known for many, many movies, Snake Eyes with Nicolas Cage, Watchmen, she was Sally, American Gangster. And this is not the first time that Dwayne Johnson and Carla have worked together. They worked together on Race to Witch Mountain and again in San Andreas. So they worked together the year before this movie came out in 2009 and then again in 2015. So they seem to be very very happy working with each other. Excuse me. Now, this is where we get kind of the subplot, the secondary story, if you will. This is where we get the detective. The detective's coming in and they're trying to figure out who Driver really is because they don't know who he is yet. Now, there are so many twists and turns going through this plot, and it makes this movie even fucking better. Okay. So this is where the killer is hired. All right. And that is his name. Again, if you go to IMDb, it's listed as Killer. That is Oliver Jackson Cohen. Now, Oliver Jackson Cohen, known for The Invisible Man, Going the Distance. He was in the TV show Surface. So, done a few things. I'll be honest, I don't recognize him from much, to be honest with you, but he is in this movie and he is known as Killer. We don't get a name for him. Killer. That's it. He's this, when they're going around and you're meeting him, they're going around his house. You see he's made money from a lot of other things in his life, software companies and creating this and building that. So he's a very rich, stylish contract killer. And he's brought in to take out Driver, obviously. So now we have a third kind of, what would you say, third kind of axis to this movie, where now we've got the revenge plot, we've got the detectives, and we've got the killer. And 2 out of the 3 are going for the driver. So the driver already going for target 2. Okay, heading right for the second target. Kenneth Tyson is this guy's name. This guy is a scumbag. And this is the man who films the death of his brother. This guy is total scum, a pedo, literally just brought a young girl into his apartment, drugged her, was getting ready to film some very, very vile stuff. Luckily, never got around to doing it. But the Rock comes in, or Driver comes in, blows him away after a quick conversation. And, the girl is obviously scared, but he's not there to hurt any innocent people, Driver. He's just not. Um, so that's a good thing. But he is not there to hurt innocent people. And on his way out is where Killer catches up to him. They have an absolutely amazing shootout in the hallway. It is just a fast pace, like I said, Walter Hill style, excellent, excellent action scene. And they're just shooting it out in the hallway. Now, I told you what the Driver was using. Killer is using an H&P or an H&K P30, and then he's using a Glock throughout some of the movie. But the first gun he's using with the silencer is an H&K P30. So this is fucking awesome, though, just watching this scene. It's they're just going back and forth. Driver gets away. Okay. So after that, Killer's starting to get a little more emotionally involved because he calls up his soon-to-be fiancée in the movie, Lily, and that's the only name we get for her. She is played by Maggie Grace. Now, Maggie Grace was in the Taken movies as the daughter. She was in the first, second, and third one. So there you go. Just last year, she was in Suits LA as Amanda Stevens. Fear of the Walking Dead, she was in as Althea. And there you go. So she's been in a bunch of stuff, but I know her mostly from the Taken movies, all three of them. I think there was actually a fourth one that might not be involved. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So, right? No one cares about that. So, you know what? I don't even have any more pictures. Y'all just going to have to look at me the rest of the show. What do you think about that? So, let me just switch the screen real quick, make this a little easier on my eyes. There we go. Now, we've got her. Her name is Lily. And this is where she's like trying to get him to go straight. And you can see by this picture, she's wearing a wedding dress, a beautiful wedding dress on a beautiful girl. And they do end up getting married. And he does tell her that he will quit. But I think we know, even under the pressure of a woman, sometimes you got to finish what you started. So we've got the two cops. We've got Humphreys and Cicero, and they're digging into the driver's history. And they come across that he was a part of a robbery about 10 years ago. And this is where we kind of get another true Packers fan wants to leave this picture up for the rest of the stream. It'd be better than looking at me. I agree. She is a gorgeous girl. Yeah, as a blonde or a brunette, she's absolutely beautiful. She has a great smile too. So this is where we kind of get where the cops start realizing there is a revenge mission going on here. This isn't just murder. This is, I mean, even more than grief. This is absolute vengeance and revenge. So Cicero realizes, I recognize this guy from a tape I saw a while ago. And this is where we see they start playing the tape, and it shows them doing the robbery. Actually, this is the snuff film that we see. And they're showing it, and it shows his brother what happened is these guys came in and they took down their score. These guys got away with it looked like a bank robbery. If Cheeseman didn't finish up under the pressure of women, often he'd have less kids. Very true. Sorry. You know what? Don't worry. The pictures aren't deleted. Don't worry about it. But seeing, so they were part. I'm sorry. They were part of this whole thing. They got away, but some guys came for their score, and that's where it went bad. His brother had his throat slit because they said, we're not going to shoot him. Well, they didn't. They slit his throat. And then they end up shooting Driver in the back of the head. So we find out he survived a gunshot wound to the back of the head, now has a steel plate in his head. That's another thing for later in the film for foreshadowing, folks. So there we go right there. He had a metal plate surgically implanted in his skull. And that becomes something that, again, we'll see that later. But it almost defines how tough this Driver character really, really is in the movie. In the movie, excuse me. Oh, hold on. So another name on that list was a woman. And I think everybody was a little worried, holy shit, he's going to go kill a woman. Well, that's not what happened. He went and visited his, we find out, former girlfriend. And she's been watching the news and realizes what he's doing. Now he sees a kid there and asks if it's his. And she's like, no, do the math. He's older than when you got out. But she does reveal they did have a kid and she had an abortion. So moved on, made her own family. This was a little bit of a turn in the movie because I don't think we were expecting the emotion we got with the brother. I mean, we just had the scene with the brother. That was emotional, watching him get his throat slit. Then we go to this scene and we have the emotion of hearing that he had a child and his unborn child was aborted. So another emotional kind of thing, two back-to-back emotional things going out in the movie. But where you think she was going to be like, you need to stop what you're doing, turn yourself in, it's not what she does. She says, I hope you fucking kill them all. All of them. Which basically is a little motivation for him, not that he needed it. He's motivated enough as it is. So that was another great scene. Like I said, you just had those two emotional scenes back to back. Now, he's going for another guy. Now, this guy's a bouncer outside of a strip club. And he goes in, the strip club's in Nevada. So he goes to Nevada. He finds the club, goes in, and they get into a fight in the bathroom. Now, it's a great scene, and I'm going to say the guy that's in the toilet, the attendant, was in an episode of NYPD Blue. He actually played a elderly man who was dealing with dementia. Very, very good episode. But he was in that show. So for the fight scene, Johnson spent 2 days. Johnson? I'd rather call him Dwayne than Johnson. He spent 2 days learning something called 52 blocks. This is a fighting style that actually originated in West Coast prisons. So when they were fighting, they were very up close, very, very personal. Again, you got the director trying to recreate, almost copy, mimic that gritty Walter Hill feel. Fights like this definitely do that. Now, he gets stabbed, but lives. And he's heading back. Driver's heading back. Now, he was pretty far away at the time. So Humphreys, Billy Bob Thornton, had time to hear about the fact that the bouncer's hospitalized, but he lived, and they know he's coming back to finish the job. And they're right. So, sorry. So, they were definitely right. He is coming back. He is coming back to finish up the job. So, this is great because now you have everyone, including Killer, and they're all going to the same place. Enters the hospital, driver, and just walks into the operating room. Boom, boom, puts 2 bullets in him. Walks out. Has to run out because Humphreys is after him. Now, he takes Humphrey's gun. Humphreys drops his gun when he's caught. And he gets on his knees and he's ready to die. He's ready. But driver sees his badge and spares him and leaves. Now remember, he's not just out for a spree killing. He's out for revenge. He's got he may be killing people, but he's got a moral to what he's doing. He has a code, if you will. We've talked about this killer's code or criminal code in a few movies we've talked about. He's got this code, and that's what he's going to do. He's not going to hurt innocent people that aren't involved in his brother's death. So he leaves the hospital. We get an excellent car chase, muscle car versus exotic car in this. It's like Fast and Furious, which I think we all know The Rock was in that movie too. Those starting out later in them. And he gets shot in the neck. Driver does. Now, I don't think it says it in my notes, but what he does do is he goes to his mother's house and even puts a gun to her head and asks where his dad is. Now, he thinks his dad set him up, him and his brother, because his brother had gone to his dad, asked for help, and his dad said, "I'll help, but I want a full share." Brother said no. Mom says there's no way he would do that. He loved your brother too much. So, but we do see the driver shot in the neck here. And now this even more gets Killer pissed off because he thought this is his job. And he's like so intent and intense both on doing this job that this is kind of where the film gets away from being this revenge film and just turns into a gritty car chase. And it's fucking awesome. I love it. I did have the part I just told you in my notes, by the way. So from there, we see a girl that Humphreys is dating. Well, seems to be his wife. They're not getting along. Played by Moon Blood God. Yes, her name is Moon Blood God. Now, we find out later in the movie this was actually Gary, the brother, was his girlfriend at the time. And there's a whole convoluted thing of how this came about. We'll get into it as we go through. We still got a few notes left here. Now, he's going after one of the final guys, or what he thinks is the final guy on the list. Now, well, you know what? I'm gonna dig a little deeper into the Marina Humphreys storyline. The wife of Billy Bob Thornton's character. We find out that she was not only the girlfriend of driver's brother while they were doing the robbery, but she was also an informant for Billy Bob Thornton's character, Humphreys. Turns out they both went to rehab. They got straightened out and ended up getting married. Yes, he married his snitch. Not done a lot. But this is even more of a twist in the movie because now you see a little bit of connection between Gary and Billy Bob Thornton. You're almost like, why were you about to accept your death? And this is where we see a little bit, of what's going on. Not completely yet, but driver's going after one of his last targets. And that is Adewale. I am not going to try to say the rest of his name. We just talked about him in Bullet to the Head. Just talked about him. I don't want to get into it again. I can't pronounce the goddamn name. But this gentleman had gone from the life of crime he was in to a traveling evangelist on the radio, everything. And literally on the way to find him, you have Driver listening to him on the radio, preaching the whole time, telling the gospel. So he confronts him at one of his services. He goes back and says what most of them say: I've been waiting for you. I knew you'd come around eventually, but starts pleading. I've turned my life around. And this is once again where you get the morals of the driver. Brings him out, tells him right here is good. This is where we're going to do it. Points the gun at him. Starts singing. And Driver can't do it. He ends up shooting him twice, but not any. He shoots beside his head. Tells him go home and be with your family. So it's another kind of key moment where you see this guy. He had seen this guy's family. They came in and interrupted the conversation. So there you go. It was a great little moment in the movie where you saw humanity out of revenge. You saw humanity prevail, and it was good to see because you wanted that character to be spared when you saw his wife, when you saw one of his kids, and he was talking about other ones, and he spared his life. So kind of down to the final little things here. And this is where Cicero, the Julia, finally learns the identity, and they all head out to the church to go find him. Billy Bob Thornton calls, says he's on his way. Now, once again, they're all converging on the same place, and you know this shit's about to happen. Killer and Driver are there confronting each other. Humphreys walks in, and he's telling the killer, put it down, and he doesn't do it. Instead, Humphreys shoots Driver in the back of the head again, and you realize something. Oh, shit. Humphreys had everything to do with this. He did. Humphreys had everything to do with this. Okay? His wife, Marina, once again, was the brother of the driver's girlfriend. She was the snitch. She turned in what they were doing to Humphreys. Humphreys set up these guys to do what they did, and he was kind of the guy no one knew about. No one knew about these guys or him because he had kept his name out of all the records. So we find out Billy Bob Thornton was behind this whole thing, and he exposes himself to the driver. Now, here's a good little twist when the driver is kind of is not the driver, I'm sorry, the killer is kind of like, I can't believe you did that. Now I didn't do my job. Now what the hell is happening? So it goes through, and the, Billy Bob Thornton's like, I don't get you. You go through all this trouble, and all you charge is $1. And he's like, that's my price, $1. Dude, if there were hitmen out there for $1, more people would be dead much faster. Seriously. Seriously. Told him to keep the dollar, didn't earn it. So it was kind of funny though, but weird. So Humphreys goes and he's calling his wife Marina, telling him, we're good. I got it. I handled it. Everything's fine. Guy's dead. Nothing's going to happen. Because she was worried that this guy was going to come for them. So while he's on the phone, boom, takes a bullet. He looks up and there's Driver. He asks how. He's got the bullet in his hand. He just goes, metal plate. Boom, one more shot. So while Cicero is driving to the crime scene, she realizes she got some records pulled. The cop on a lot of this stuff, a lot of these guys that were all jailhouse snitches that are being killed, were all jailed by the same cop, Humphreys. So she realizes he's in on it. Shows up after he's dead and decides to just take the paperwork and shoves it in her pocket, keeps it out. I guess she figured what I think a lot of cops would figure is, why step on his name after he's already dead? This can be hidden. Might as well hide it. So that was that. She's really the one person that has the truth. And basically you just see Driver and he scatters Gary's ashes, leaves, killer returns home to his new wife, and Jared is heard the last guy, Adewale, is heard on the radio doing one last sermon on forgiveness. That was pretty fucking awesome, man. Pretty awesome movie. And I know I went through it kind of fast, but I've got a lot of shit to do tonight. I am not even close to being done with my night tonight. My wife started a job today. Got a lot going on. I'm working on getting my business going. I'm working on getting e-commerce store going. I'm working on getting a lot of things rolling and kind of trying to be more independently working so I don't have to depend on bosses, corporate world, all that shit. So I've got a bunch of stuff to get done tonight. I'm actually signing up for trying to get on Fiverr to be a seller. You got to do a lot to do that. But you know what? Fuck that. I'm going to shamelessly plug my Shopify store. So I'm selling some packaging stuff online, and hell, might as well buy my own airtime here. It is eagle-packaging.myshopify.com, and doing a little packaging on there. Don't have a lot right now. I am starting slow. I've got some boxes, some corrugated rolls, and some poly bags on there. All I'm starting with right now. If I can get a few things going, I will make sure I get a lot more put on there. But if you need packaging for cheaper than you line, go to that website I just told you, eagle-packaging.myshopify.com. So there you go. Shameless plug for my own store. So sorry about that. But listen, this is a great movie. If you haven't watched this and you are an action movie buff, You need to put this on. You need to. And if you do want to watch this movie, then it's on a lot of platforms right now. You can watch it on Pluto TV for free, YouTube for $3.99, Google Play for $3.99, Apple TV for $3.99, Fandango and Amazon for $3.99. But Pluto TV has it for free. So if you do want to check this movie out, and it is a good movie to check out, again, you've got that just throwback gritty 70s kind of action feel to the movie. You've got car chases, you've got plot twists, you've got, I mean, everything you can ask for in an action movie. You've got shootouts, car chases, you know, guns, headshots. It is a classic action movie. And again, the um the uh the director was going for that Walter Hill style and got it. I said this already a couple times. I definitely think he nailed it. But I definitely recommend watching this movie, folks. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of here and do what I got to do. I appreciate everybody coming on in. I appreciate anyone listening. Again, I keep seeing the subscribers go up and the numbers on the YouTube stuff going up, and I really do appreciate it. So back here next week, right on YouTube, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. And thanks for joining me once again, Hollywood Hangout. I am Boxman. Back here next week with another movie. Keep your eye on the channel to see what it is. On that note, see ya.